All right, welcome back to The Pulse, the show covering everything people, power, and politics from the D to D.C. We are less than a month to the election, and you've been bombarded with political ads running on TV, online, and on the radio, on your social media. Some of them can be not a bit, but all the way fear-inducing. Joining us now to talk about fear, Dave Giulio, political science expert from Oakland University and a regular here on The Pulse. Good to see you, Dave.
Yeah,
Thanks for joining us. You scared yet? I mean, because if you're a Democrat and you're watching an ad from the Trump camp or a PAC, you'll be scared, because if I vote the wrong way, I could screw over my entire life, is the way it make it seem, and the opposite true as well. Does fear work?
Sure does. They wouldn't use it if it didn't work. You know, it's not only does it work, it's been around for a long time. The use of images, audio that pull at your emotions is a tried and true method in American politics. And, you know, we can go back not just to the 90s, not just to the 80s. We can go back to the 1860s and the 1860 election with Abraham Lincoln and see the use of fear in images, frankly, that would never fly today, because they had to do with race and ethnicity in ways that we would never stand for today. Just absolutely, yeah. Just straight up racist, straight up ethnocentric appeals that played to people's emotions and fears.
So this has been around since the beginning of politics. Let's talk for a moment about how it's ramped up, though, because if you look at, you know, like Dukakis Bush, or you look at, you know, all that stuff from way back when, and then you take a look at where we're at now, it feels like they're proposing, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, that there's an existential threat, that if you vote for this other person, the way you know America will end. Is that's on purpose, right? I mean, that's how they're framing these messages.
It's certainly on purpose, and it's done to try and make sure people listen, right? It's because as you know, right, there's so much out there now. There's so much clutter. There's so much political swirl that to get an effective message through to voters, you have to cut through that, and using fear is a tried and true method for doing that.
And so it's one thing to say, like people say all the time, I want to see more good things. I wish there was more positive messaging. But if positive messaging was so darn effective, they'd be using more positive messaging. That inspirational music saying this candidate has done more, and the American flag waving in the back, people don't remember those, right, as much.
You couldn't be more right. And in fact, we've got reams of data over decades that demonstrate that those positive commercials compared to negative ones are not as well remembered, and frankly don't carry as much policy content as the quote-unquote negative ads.
Talk about how that translates into the rallies. We often say with Kamala Harris in one interview, and then at a rally we hear something different. We hear Donald Trump contrast the rally Donald Trump to the one who sits down and does a debate or stands up and does a debate. How important is consistency, or is it not important?
Well, it used to be that consistency in message was absolutely critical, that you couldn't get caught as a candidate saying one thing to one audience and another thing to a different audience, right? But these days, because the base of each party is so critical to the electoral fortunes of that party, the message to the base is often different than the one that is communicated to swing voters, independent voters, etc.
It is actually deep enough that mental health therapists talk about it, and we had the chance to talk to one just a few moments ago, and here's what she had to say about fear in these ads and your children.
Not only are they watching that literal ads or hearing them on the morning drive to school or after school, they're also feeling the energy of the parents. And a lot of us, myself included, it's really really focused on this campaign. We're really eyes on the prize of things. And so that creates anxiety. Like, why is mom or dad, why is my caregiver having the feelings that they're experiencing? Why are they so revved up about these things? And so the thing I would tell parents and caregivers is to pay attention and be mindful and have conversations. It's never too early to talk to your children really about anything, but also about our democracy, and share with them what is happening in the world, and why voting is so important, and so important to you personally and the family.
So we tap into the political science professor's expertise to look for a little bit of psychology for a moment, if you will. what do you think all of us can do as a collective to make things a little bit easier and better for one another?
Yeah, I think that was great advice. Have conversations about it. I'd also say, take a step back. Realize what is happening when you're watching these commercials. Know that they're trying to pull at your heartstrings. Know that they're trying to impact your emotions, and take it with a grain of salt, right? Step back. It'll be okay.
Be a smart consumer. It will be okay. 3 great words from Dave Giulio. And regardless of who wins, we of course wish for that, and we thank you for joining us here on The Pulse. We'll be talking to you much more through this cycle here. Now, by the way, Battleground with SC Cup is next, right here on Fox 2. A great show looking at the other swing states. I'm Roop Raj. Have a great night. Great work, man. Yeah, did a good job.